I'm an oldie who has time to ponder, and as a result of that, you don't know, you don't wonder anymore, you ponder. And I was talking about mechanics, motor mechanics, you see. But the interesting one, the one that about motor mechanics has a little bit of history in it, in that my father was a self-taught motor mechanic, and he was a very bright man. We couldn't get on because I wasn't as bright. You had in Swords, you had Bill Mungy. In Rush, you had Simon Hoare. In Balbriggan, you had Paddy Dunphy. You had Jack Harford, who was on Tournament up there, Tournament on the hill, just past the roundabout. And they were all great. Jimmy Dempsey was another. They were all men who were silent men, but they knew everything about machines and levers and things, all things like that. And I was just saying, I remember going past Mungy's garage on the main street in Swords, and Bill was a stocky little man, you know, and he was wrestling with a truck with a starting handle in it. And it stuck in my mind, you know, that here was the exasperation of a man who wasn't going to let the machine beat him, you know. Yeah. And he was either going to start it or wear it out. Simon Hoare now was the yarn told about him in Rush. Simon had an old seafaring background, very nice man. And Simon, the local doctor came in. He was Dr. Cusick, who was on the first hall, a member of the first hall. And he came in and there's something wrong with the car, and he lifted the bonnet and he said, well, he fixed it anyway, and well, much do I owe you? And 10 shillings. Oh, yeah, gosh, that's very, very expensive for just what you've done. Well, see, every time I go to you and I lift the tail of my shirt, he says, you don't give an arse about what you charge me. And that's the sort of thing that goes on. And I'd say there's a load of things about Bill Mungy and Swords, because he was a real character. But he was a real nice man. At the back of it all, you know, he'd frightened them live anyway, you know. But Simon Hoare, I'll never forget Simon Hoare. When I started, green as grass, when I come back from England, and I built the thing out there. I didn't have an electric welder. And I went in to Simon and I said, I didn't know him what my father had known him, you know, but I found him a very nice man. And I said, look, I'm stuck. I have a bit of electric welding to do. I had an acetylene bottle always, but this was heavy. And I said, I believe you have a new unit. Yeah, he says, there it is over there. You see, you can have it for as long as you like. Nobody here is able to use it. And I said, well, that's great. And he says, have you got a grinder? And I say, I haven't, no. Well, there's a grinder there, thing. You can have that as well. And I came back and we had a great relationship from there on, because I brought it back to him as soon as it was ready, as soon as I was finished with it. But he used to build boats in the night time, and I helped him with bits of welding, see. And I'd do a bit of brazing for him and do this for him, and I'd do anything for him, you know, that I could. And but an interesting man. He was a lovely man that you would take to, because he was genuine. You know, if you met his appraisal, you were in. For a small village surrounded by farming land, Lusk has always had a wide variety of tradesmen. There were blacksmiths, butchers, bricklayers, plasterers, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, cobblers, harness makers, tailors, knitters, painters and decorators. There were railwaymen, motor mechanics and bicycle experts. We had a specialist in the world of radio and television engineering who could also play the piano or an accordion. If your equipment was beyond repair, Con could drop his hat and entertain with a lively tune set from his backup skills. There were other handy men who could dig a well or a ditch, kill a pig, break in a young horse, snare a rabbit, shoot crows, fell trees, thatch roofs, mend and make fences, gates and doors. A chimney sweep, the expert crew of the machinery circus of grain harvesting in the autumn. The skill set of the farming community expanded greatly to utilise the advanced machinery and the wide selection of crops and the attendance of the advances in chemistry. Most of the larger farms have a handyman around the yard who knows all about the weather, the markets, the grant system, the exact acreage of each field on the farm. He will also be able to use a spade, a shovel, a wheelbarrow, a 2 and a 4 grain fork, and an ability to drive anything, even a nail with a hammer. While we salute the men of generations, we could not do justice to the ladies of Lusk by ordinary description. We leave that to the skill of a poet.